How you doing? Welcome back. My name is Rick and this is Winder's Ranger. So we did the install the other day for, well, it's been, what, 2 weeks I guess? We put the Ultraloq Pro or Ultraloq Wi-Fi lock in the RV door here. And see if we can, where I got the camera set up here, it just shows the front face of it. Anyway, it's been working good up until about 3 days ago. Luckily I was inside, and it's like the lock, like the motor was still engaged when I went to unlock it. And I thought, well, that doesn't feel right. There's an issue. The night before that, it almost acted like the batteries were going dead. So I replaced the batteries first thing the following morning. Went about my business doing some other things. Came outside, and when I went to throw the manual lever here that operates it, when I went to throw that, when you're doing it manually, I guess there's a disconnect in there someplace that takes the electric motor out of play and allows you to move the lock manually. Well, when I threw the lock, it felt like the motor was still engaged, and it kind of, you know, as it threw the deadbolt to unlock it. So I thought, well, that's not right. So I came outside, I tried the manual lock button, which is on the bottom of the face. I know I don't have the camera lined up very good for that, but it's on the bottom of the face there. And you hit that button, that'll throw the deadbolt over. That's the manual electronic lock. And it didn't do anything. So I checked the app, and the app, it said that the deadbolt was jammed. And I thought, it's kind of weird. So with it now in the lock position, I manually locked it from the inside. I put in the PIN code to unlock it, and it said the deadbolt was jammed. I don't know what the problem is. So either something has gotten inside there, maybe the styrofoam from the core of the door itself has gotten into the lock, which I doubt. I don't think there'd be enough substance or mass in that foam to do that, to jam up the lock. Or there's an issue with the motor itself. I think if that's the case, the issue with the motor is probably because it was damaged when I first installed the lock and things weren't lined up correctly. If you go back and watch that, the second of the 2 install video, well, the first one's an unboxing. The second one for this lock was the install. And because the locking plate here on the outside isn't recessed into the door frame, that threw off the measurements from the front to the back by like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so. And because those things weren't lined up correctly, that was causing the lock to jam up a little bit. That may have done some damage to the lock. I would think that a lock would be manufactured heavy enough that that wouldn't cause the issue, that it would have a limit to prevent the lock from damaging itself. It would just say, you know, would time out, or it would reach a pressure point and say, oh, that's jammed up, I have to stop, you know, before it strips the motor out. But obviously there's a problem. So today what we're going to do is we're going to pull it apart and see if we can figure out what the problem is, and try to fix it. If we can't, I may reach out to the warranty department and see if they can help me. I've modified this lock to the point that I don't think that the warranty department's going to be real happy when they get it and say, you know, oh yeah, sure, we'll just send you another one. If they're willing to replace it, if there's damage to the lock without me sending this one back, maybe I'll do that. But let's start with pulling it apart, see what the issue is, and I guess we'll go from there. So let me grab a screwdriver here. This was a Phillips. So we got our Phillips here. Take the battery case off the front. We'll pull the batteries out of there. We got 4 AA batteries. These are all brand new. I just replaced those. My first thought was, when the motor wasn't running quite right, that you know, who knows how long the batteries were in the box, or how long this was sitting on the shelf at the, you know, the factory, the warehouse, wherever they ship these from. It's a relatively new company as far as I'm aware, so I wouldn't think that the batteries would have been sitting around that long, but who knows? You know, it's where'd they get the batteries from, and, you know, all that kind of stuff has to come into play. So these little screws here, a little hard to hold on to. I dropped one of those when I installed it in the grass. It wasn't exactly easy to find. Alright, so we got the lock. Unplug the plug there to get our flathead screwdriver. And I'll show you on the camera here. So here's the electric motor. This is the pin that controls the lock. The inner workings, I don't really want to get into that too much, but of course then the manual throw and the battery case here. So what I'm interested in, you see that turns okay. I don't think we're going to be able to see anything unless we pull this apart. And I don't know how much of that we want to get into. Yeah, see, it's got a security, I'll show you on there as well, that we've got a security, I don't know, security tape, I guess. So you've got these 4 screws here, the 5th one up in this corner, and this one has got the sticker over it to prevent tampering with the lock. They'll know that if you pulled that apart. So I would imagine their warranty department would be interested in seeing as to whether or not that security sticker is on there. No workings in the front part of the lock that have anything to do with the motor. It all is controlled by the back of the lock there. I don't see anything that would cause that to get jammed up. So I guess we've got a decision to make whether or not to tap into this or not. Alright, well, we're going to go for the gold. We're going to go ahead and open it up, peel the security sticker off here. Okay, no turning back now. I don't know if anybody that follows my channel watches AVE. He lives in British Columbia, I think, somewhere. Does a lot of machining and stuff like that. And he was selling a, I don't know what you call it, it's a little plastic or a silicone plastic scraper, I guess, for taking those security stickers off and then being able to replace them. You basically can take them off without damaging them. But unfortunately I don't have one of those, so what we're doing, just taking these 6 screws out of here. I may regret this, but I'm not generally the one to turn to the warranty right away. Not, at least not in every instance anyway. Sometimes that's necessary, but referencing that same guy, AVE, he, as he would say, it's already dickered, so you can't dicker it anymore. It doesn't work now, so the only thing I can do at this point is void my warranty, but I think I've already done that when I went after the bolt with the Dremel tool, so when I initially installed that, it was hanging up on the door jamb side, and I thought maybe the issue was that the bolt was interfering with the side of the door jamb, which was why I went after it with the Dremel tool to try to straighten that out. Okay, what do we got there? Well, this front face is it's cast. It's probably a pot metal, but it feels nice and nice and heavy. It's a durable metal. That's nice. I don't know what we've got going on here. I don't want to have pieces come flying off on me, but so you got a brain board here inside, and it looks like it's got a soldering connection, 2 soldering connections here, and the motor assembly had a connection here, but it looked like it was just a, I don't know, it's probably a 16 pin or something like that without counting these little tiny pins. Just a plug basically that fits in there. I know my fingers are kind of in the way. It's not the most detailed way of filming this, but anyway, there's a pin there. We'll set this aside for a second. So what we're after is in here. And the way this is put together, I don't know that we're looking at. This is the motor assembly there. And I'm guessing it's got, okay, I can see the gears in there. I will say this, that it looks like it's a decent solid construction from what I can see. I also don't see anything that jumps right out at me that would say this is why it doesn't work. Problem is going to be there's tabs on here, 2 tabs on each side. There's 2 tabs there, 2 tabs there, so there's 8 altogether. And you have to probably would have to release 4 of them at the same time to get this thing started. At least 4. Maybe 6, but I you know, obviously I don't have that many hands, so I don't know. I think before we go any further, let's put this back together. Sometimes just taking things apart and putting them back together, then all of a sudden you've loosened something up somewhere and they decide to start working on their own. So let's see if it decides to reset. And put it back together and see if it's going to work. And if not, I may have to reach out to their warranty department and see if they're going to help work with me at all with getting this thing replaced maybe. I think that little pin connector in there isn't seated properly, but it doesn't seem like it wants to go back quite the way that it came apart. Well, maybe we're all right. I guess I will say this, and I have to say the disclaimer for this whole thing not working is that the initial install that I did caused this thing to bind up, and that in itself may be the cause for this not working correctly or having failed. However, some of the reviews that I read, and I purchased this off of Amazon, but some of the reviews that I read, some other folks had issues where it quit working. So I'm reluctant to say that this is a bad product because I don't know. It may have been my installation, the first installation that I did, that has affected this. But I will say that its construction feels solid enough that it should have been able to handle that adequately. So I would say hold off before you run out and buy one of these. And if I can give any more of a honest review as far as this product's quality, I'll certainly let you know. Let me see here. Would it be unlocked? Locked, okay. So we'll hook the pin back up here, the plug. I'm going to stand on the step here. I can't reach it. I can't see it, rather. I don't know whether the microphone's picking it up or not, but I got the washer dryer combo running there in the background. You might be hearing that. Also did a video on that install last year. Well, I guess this is a moment of truth. Let's see what we got here. That works at least. Also considered just buying another one of these and installing it now that I've got it installed correctly. But that would kind of be accepting the fact that the warranty is not going to help me, and yeah, that's not a good sign. Let's get the reset thing and try that. I'm betting the pin connector on the inside isn't seated properly like I thought, and that's going to affect this thing starting back up. Alright, well, E for effort, I guess. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the, I don't know, their customer service or their warranty department and see what I can get out of that. Since I took that security sticker off, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're probably not going to work with me there. I may end up. I've looked into buying another one of these locks, and I looked into buying a different manufacturer. The problem with a different manufacturer is I don't know that I'll have the same luck that I did with this, modifying it to get it to fit. So in any case, this is more of a kind of an update video, I guess. I thought maybe I could take it apart and see, you know, what was jamming it up, but that's not the case, and now it doesn't work at all. That's the way it goes. I'm not going to edit this in such a way that makes it look like, you know, I didn't cause it to stop working. I'm going to let this video ride the way that it is. It's just the cost of doing business sometimes. It will still work manually, which is what I've been doing anyway, which is, let's see if I can get that on film there. This bottom part pulls up just a little bit, and then the front face folds down, and then you got a key access, which is fine. So I'll just use it that way for now, and see what I can get as far as the warranty. If they'll send me another one, great. We'll go from there. Maybe I'll make another video about it. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. If I end up replacing this with a different manufacturer, maybe that'll be the next video. I don't know. And I'll just include whatever the findings were with their warranty department. So it's the way it goes sometimes, you know. But appreciate you watching. And if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. You might want to hit the subscribe button. That'll keep you up to date on future videos. And we will see you all on the next one. Thanks for watching.